What's up, everybody? Noble Comics here. And as you may have noticed that I have abandoned my sort of podcast form thing that I tried to do. I made one episode and then I realized that I didn't really want to make another. So I'm just going to stick to the shorter videos about stuff that I really want to talk about instead of trying to fit together, different pieces of news that may or may not interest me as much. But what does interest me is looking forward to 2023 as to what is exciting in the comic book world. 2022, looking forward to 2023. 2022 has been pretty bad as far as mainstream comics go. There hasn't really been anything from Marvel and DC that's really interested me. I mean, Batman was pretty good for a little while, but for the most part, there's been nothing crazy going on, nothing really that special. Maybe there's been some indie stuff that I liked, but if you have been watching these videos for any time, the majority of the spending that I do when it comes to comic books is independent comics. Usually crowdfunded comics is what I buy the most of. Then I've been buying some manga stuff, been getting into Berserk, buying the collected leather-bound omnibus books. So that's pretty sweet. But comics, there's not really much going on. I've been doing some rereading of the stuff that I've got. Reread Secret Wars, reread Karnak, and a few others. But there's been nothing coming out today that's been really interesting me, and I know I'm not the only one. So the question is, what have we got to look forward to in 2023? And the answer is nothing good maybe? I don't know. Looking specifically at Marvel, who I kind of consider, if Marvel's doing bad, I feel like everybody's doing bad. I know that's not really the case, but that's kind of the case. So, looking at Marvel, they have a few big events planned, but what seems to be the biggest is going to be the Fall of X storyline, and another one that ties into it, like the Sin of Sinister, something like that. Both of them X-Men stories, where we're finally bringing about an end to this Krakoa storyline, and the mutant society off on their own little island doing all that, which is honestly great news. I really hope they don't fumble that, because this current X-Men run that's been going on for a while now has felt so weird. It hasn't really been that good. Parts of it have been pretty bad, but for the most part, it's just kind of mediocre and kind of strange, and it feels very out of character. It doesn't feel like an X-Men story to me personally. It just seems weird, and it's kind of okay, can we please get out of this awkward phase and get back to regular stories? And then everything they've been doing with Wolverine has been really weird this year. And that's Logan Wolverine, not X-23, who they're calling Wolverine now. I want 2023 to really reset the X-Men world and bring it back to how it used to be, because for my senior project in college for my economics degree, I did a big project on whether comic book movies have any relation to comic book sales. And just going through all the data, one thing I found is that early 2000s, for the better part of a decade, X-Men just dominated the top 10 comic sales. It was insane what a grip X-Men had on comic sales. It was, nothing like it. And nowadays, the X-Men kind of suck, and they're kind of boring, and it's kind of lame, and nobody really cares. And I would like that to change, because the X-Men may be the most influential comic books group of all time. I think that's fair to say. A lot of people are very fond of them. There's kind of something for everybody there. So I'd like that to kind of go back to the way it used to be, in a sense. Introduce some new characters, that's fine. You gotta have Wolverine there, come on. You gotta have Logan, kind of as a backbone. But do something with them that's not this, please. Reset it, do something. Please, yeah, get it back to normal. Other than that, Marvel's got like a few other things going on. I think they've got another Venom event planned. Look, I don't care about the Venom stuff at all. I know it was a pretty big deal. Was it like 2020, 2021? With Donny Cates' Venom run that I didn't like, but everybody else did. And then the Maximum Carnage event, which I heard it was pretty good. I think the sales were pretty solid. But I don't care about it at all, about like the symbiote family. So if you like that, that's coming, so whatever. But what's not coming is... Sorry, I'm blocking my view with the steering wheel here. What's not coming is the drastic changes that I think need to come to Marvel. I think that they need to get rid of the majority of their titles, probably the majority of their titles, and really whittle it down to a few like really professional teams just working on core characters. Speaking of that report that I did, the end result was, admittedly, whenever there is a comic book movie, there is a slight increase on average in comic book sales. If that's all the information you have, I think it was about additional 5,000 per month. Though, I think if the movie was a sequel, then the sales actually went down on average. I should probably link all my data. I can probably do that. That's for a specific title too, not just as a whole, for a specific title. So, even though these movies are doing insane numbers, the comics are not really reflecting that. So I think Marvel does kind of need to get it in gear a little bit and stop with the absolute insane number of titles that they put out every month. Narrow it down. And I've been saying this for a while. Since Marvel already has these replacement characters set up, they already have the Miles Morales Spider-Man and all this stuff set up, let's go ahead and let's do something insane, and let's do the final storylines for all these characters. Let's do the final Peter Parker storyline. You can make it like 100 issues long if you want. I don't care. I think it might be time. Let's see if we can end some of these characters in a good way that is fulfilling and satisfying, that we can move on from and create some new characters and stuff like that. So that's Marvel. DC, we've got a few different things going on. The main DC event is, I think it's called Lazarus World, which is about, obviously, like the Lazarus Pit, yada yada. It's like a magical event where the Lazarus Pit is made like overflowing and it's on the surface of the earth, and some magical stuff goes on. The main thing that they are boasting is like characters getting different powers and abilities. I know like the key image had Batman wearing the helmet of fate, which that's cool, I guess. It seems like kind of just like a fun little goofy thing. I know it's supposed to have some bigger ramifications for the DC universe, and that might be true. Who knows? Because the problem is giving Batman's got the helmet of fate. I am not stupid enough to think that is not going to be reset 1 month after this thing's over, 6 months after this thing's over. You can't do something that cool and expect me to believe that that's going to stay that way. So it's kind of like already been written off in my mind as having no consequences. We'll see if that's actually true or not. And they're also doing some like Superman-focused stuff. I think Clark Kent is back as Superman, at least as a Superman. And so they're doing like a super family type comic, which I'm all for that, honestly. The super family has been growing for some time. Superman is a more family character, so it probably won't be good, but definitely has the potential to be. And oh yeah, they're doing with John Kent. They're doing the like Superman Blue. If you remember, they had Superman Red, Superman Blue, where he had like electric powers. Well, apparently they are doing that to John Kent, which, again, it's kind of like goofy and fun, probably non-permanent, but it's at least kind of something. Though this does not bode well for me, you know. I don't have a lot of hope. Seeing this news coming out from Marvel and DC, it seems like nothing filler content. It's like both of these companies are like twiddling their thumbs. And there could be a few reasons why. Maybe just they don't have the talent there that is making these really groundbreaking stories or these big moves, just because the real professionals are not doing it anymore. You know? That could be it. It could be that Marvel and DC are focusing more on TV and movies, and that's really where their bottom line, that's where they're at. TV and movies. Comics are on the back burner. We don't really care about them as much. Let's just focus on this. So we'll make some stories, whatever. We'll just kind of keep something there to occupy the shelves. We don't really care what it is because comics don't make that much money anyways. And to a degree, I can even respect that if that is what they're thinking. Because comics don't make a ton of money. I think like the entire American comic book market is like $1 billion a year, which is nothing when a Marvel movie makes $1 billion at the theaters. And they put out like 5 of those a year. So I kind of get them not putting a focus on the comics, but at the same time it's like, do something. This slow, painful, wind down death is not doing anybody any good. It's keeping some of these writers and artists employed at like the poverty line for a little bit longer. But man, I know they don't want to take risks. DC has been throttled this year with changes, people getting fired, stuff like that. So they may be wanting to play it safe after all that, but it's like, take some risks, man, some actual good ones. Because they can take plenty of risks that are retarded if they really wanted to. But do something bold with the characters for once, man. And Batman in particular. Batman needs some change. The guy has been doing the same thing for 80 years. Do something with him that has any sort of effect on his character. At least, as much as I don't like the changes they've been having with Superman, at least they're changing him, right? They're doing something. To a character that's typically pretty static and could be pretty static. At least they're trying to do something. Even if it is like lawsuit based, I know. Batman, do something. Take Bruce Wayne and retire the character. And Batman's probably my favorite superhero, but that's kind of where I'm at. Do something final with him. Give him a send-off. Retire the character. Let's do something else. And I've said for a while that I think a good event that DC could do legitimately is do an actual time skip, which they would never do. But like manga get away with this all the time. Do a time skip, and not a small one either. Jump forward 20 years in the DC universe and keep it there going forward. Damian Wayne is the new Batman, and he's like violent and brutal. Maybe he kills people. You know, John Kent could be an actual Superman. Our legacy characters are retired in one form or the other. But do something legitimately permanent that is actually going to shake up the universe and not going to be reset in 6 months. That would generate excitement like nothing that's been seen here recently. I think that'd be super cool. Marvel probably couldn't get away with doing the same thing, because if we're honest, the ages for characters in Marvel fluctuate pretty heavily. Like Spider-Man's been 15 and like 30 within just a couple years of each other. Because there's also like 15 different Spider-Man stories going on at once. So, but you know, I'd like to see some excitement come back. I'd like to see some bold moves. And those are just some things that I'm looking forward to or hope that would happen. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video.